What is going on, everybody? Welcome to the Kenai Peninsula Fishing Report. In this video, I talk about all press releases, emergency orders, fish counts, and of course, on the ground field reporting. I live here on the peninsula and I've been fishing pretty much every single day. And I'm going to give you a rundown of what I've been seeing. So, first of all, let's look at some press releases and some emergency orders. The first emergency order or just advisory announcement is what it's called. Kenai River personal use dipnet fishery opens July 10th with no retention of king salmon. The Alaska Department of Fish and Game reminds Alaska residents the Kenai River personal use dipnet fishery opens on July 10th and continues through July 31st. However, the retention of king salmon in the Kenai River personal use fishery is prohibited. Any king salmon caught incidentally may not be removed from the water and must be released immediately and returned to the water unharmed. This goes into effect July 10th and is through the end of the month, July 31st. On June 16th, there was an emergency order prohibiting the use of bait on the Kenai River. So, no bait allowed on the Kenai River. No retention of any king salmon for personal use fishery is allowed. And let's go down these press releases here. Bait is prohibited. King salmon is slow and water levels are above average. Now, I have been seeing a lot of guys fishing for kings out there, and some of them are catching them. They're using flatfish and they're trolling in the middle channel of the Kenai River, and I've been seeing a couple kings pull out, mostly Jack Kings, but one boat pulled up a nice 30-incher. So beautiful fish. They released it, of course, but if you want to put in the work, you could probably catch a king or two. But if you can't keep them, I don't know. I'm not into that. I'm trying to get my freezer filled. Now, as for kings, the Kasilof River late run king salmon fishery began on July 1st, one per day and one per in possession. It looks like the bag and possession limit for king salmon, yeah, July 1st, one per day, one in possession. And that is going to be hatchery only. It's hatchery only. So just one a day at the Kasilof, but you can still keep one. So that's good. And of course, on the Kasilof, they increased those sockeye limits to six, and that's nice. And the Upper Kenai River and Russian River, anglers are catching limits in some areas. Bag and possession limits were increased on July 1st. So again, yeah, it might be a good time of year to hit the Russian. It is a little bit slow fishing there. I would recommend going to the Kenai River, and we'll get into those fish counts because we got some good news with the sockeye run. As for saltwater fishing, surf fishing for halibut along the beaches, they say it's fair. Now, I kind of gave up on surf fishing once I started catching a bunch of sharks. Now, I've heard from a lot of guys that once the salmon hit the rivers, the sharks really come in strong. And man, I was getting a lot of my bait stolen and catching a lot of dogfish. And I'm not a big dogfish guy, but I'm sure if the sharks are following the salmon, I'm sure the halibut are also following the salmon. You're just gonna have to put up with more sharks. So be careful out there. If you want to fish off the shore, it might be worth it for a couple high tides here. Give it a go if you want to. All right, so let's take a look at the fish counts. Kenai River, late run sockeye. It's the numbers everybody wants to see. Is the numbers that I've been looking at, and I got to tell you, from being on the river, yes, there are fish in the river, and that is just good news. Let's see the latest data: 10,000 fish a day, 10,842. So high 10,000, almost 11,000 there for July 10th, July 9th. July 8th, we had 14,000. I was on the river on July 8th, and hell yeah, guys, we were catching fish. It was crazy. So you kind of got to wait until the schools come in, wherever you are, if you're standing on the bank. And then once they come in, they're jumping all over the place. And I'm throwing hooks in the water and I'm catching sockeye. And you know what? I've been catching a lot of pink salmon, a lot of pink salmon. And I know this year's supposed to be an off year, but yeah, I've been catching my fair share of pink salmon. They don't taste as good as a sockeye, but hey, I'm not going to turn it down. Everything's good if you smoke it. So yes, these numbers are looking really good on the Kenai, and it's been cold and rainy this entire week. And from what I've seen, when it's cold and rainy, it kind of suppresses the fish. They like to stay in the ocean when it's like that. But I mean, look at these numbers. Let's just look at the last 3 days: 14,000, 10,000, 10,000. Before that was 9,000. Before that, 11,000. So these numbers are coming up. And if we look at the historical trends here, we're about to see that increase over the next week. So these fish are about to pop off, guys. I'm excited. if you're coming down here for the Dipnet fishery, you're gonna have a good time. And if you're just coming down here to floss, well, I think you're going to have a good time as well. Speaking of flossing, if you guys aren't subscribed to this channel, please do so now. I actually have a video coming out this week, probably be on Wednesday, how to floss for sockeye here on the Kenai River. So if you have any questions about how exactly you can catch salmon here, well, subscribe and I'm gonna have a new video up. It's a good beginner intro video for everyone that's been asking me how to actually catch a salmon. So okay, let's look at the Kasilof Sockeye, and this has been a good run. They've already increased the limits to 6, and you can kind of see this last week. If you're looking at the chart here with me on the video, it's been suppressed a little bit, but yeah, according to historical data, it's about to pop off again. Let's look at those last 3 days: 8,000, then almost 5,000, and then 6,000. July 7th, 10,000. And I was down there at the Casilla for one of the days. I didn't actually get one, but I saw some people pulling them in. They're out there. If you want to put in the work, the thing about the Kasilof is you got to be in the right spot because the way that river works, if they're not running by the shore, they're off on the other side of the bank or they're out in the middle. No way you're going to catch them without a boat. But so far this year, already 182,000 sockeye. That's the best year ever. Oh, well, it's the best year in the last 5 years on the Kasilof. So yeah, it's this huge, huge sockeye run, and like it's just getting warmed up, guys. So we're gonna see a ton of sockeye. Limit 6. If you get a good spot, yeah, check out the Kasilof. That's a big deal. We'll take a look at the Russian River sockeye. Like I've been saying, it's been kind of slow. It hasn't been the worst year, hasn't been the best year. Let's see. July 10th, 1,143 fish. July 9th, 1,300. July 8th, 1,000. July 7th, 1,500. July 6,000. July 5th, 782. So those numbers are actually starting to increase here. 43,000 fish have come through already over the last 5 years. That is the best. Well, it's not the best. 2019 saw 120,000 fish. Jeez, that's a lot of fish. Second best though, but second best by a substantial amount. Damn, 120,000 fish. That must have been insane. So yeah, I mean, if you guys want to hit the rush and go for it, might be worth a shot. It's pretty up there. It's beautiful. Or you could just go to the Kenai or the Kasilof and honestly catch a bunch of sockeyes and get some pink too while you're there. All right, let's take a look here. Kenai Chinook. Now, it is all catch and release, even for the Dipnet fish. You guys got to let those go. And we'll take a look at the numbers. 182 came in July 10th, 127 July 9th, 182 July 8th. So over 100 a day are coming in, almost 200. That's pretty good. 1,300 so far. That's better than last year, but not by much. So we're looking at the second to worst year so far, and that kind of matches what we saw at the early run, where we just had an okay. It was average. We had an average year. That's why they shut everything down. And unless we get a big spike here the next week, I don't think they're going to open up this king salmon fishery. So that is unfortunate news, but some silver linings. It's not terrible. They are coming back, and I know we've been putting a ton of work, or the state's been putting a ton of work trying to keep the king numbers up. And they think erosion has a big part to play in why those baby kings aren't surviving. And if you look at the river, they're doing a great job. There's grass everywhere. There's trees everywhere. They're really fixing the erosion problems. And with these huge sockeye runs, there's going to be a lot more food out in the bay for these kings to eat. So maybe over the next couple of years, it gets cyclical. Back in the 80s, we had some huge runs. So maybe we see some bigger runs here in the future. That's what we're hoping for. All right, but if you do want to catch Chinook, then the Nilchik River is probably your best bet. We got really high runs there, better than average. Already, we've had 2,148 fish come through. 3 years ago, there was only 1,500 fish this time. 3 wild, 23 hatchery a day coming in. So there's not a lot of fish coming in, but if you got your heart set on a king, go down to the Kasilof or the Ninilchik to catch them. All right. And let's take a look at the temperature, water degrees, or temperature, water in degrees Fahrenheit. Let's do Fahrenheit. Celsius is here too, but come on, we all use Fahrenheit, right? So we're looking at about 47-degree water temperature, and that matches what I've been seeing. It's been pretty stable with this rain. It's just been, it's been rainy. If you guys haven't been here, it's been real rainy. Air temperature, yeah, we see those spikes during the day, and then the lows down to about 55 and up to 60 during the day. So 5-degree temperature swing. It's not too much. It's not getting warm here. It has not gotten hot. and I think that is suppressing some of those sockeye from coming in. Even though we've seen some big runs, I think if we get a couple of hot days in a row, you're going to see a big spike in fish. So this is interesting. The discharge is actually dropping. It's dropped about 1,000 feet over the last week, and that's interesting because it has been raining a lot. But probably the reason why is that the glaciers aren't melting as fast because the sun's been hidden by clouds, and so generally, if we look at these median daily statistics over the last 74 years, we are below. So, I saw this when I was fishing on the river. The water level actually seemed to be dropping even with the rain. And what that is, I'm pretty sure has to do with those glaciers just hardening back up with those cold temperatures that we've been seeing. Same thing with the gauge height. That's dropped from 10.9 down to 10.4. So, yeah, almost half a foot there. And that just has to do with those cooler temperatures. And now with less water in the rivers, there's less water going in the ocean, and that's going to slow down those sockeye returning, and the rest of the salmon species for that matter. So, like we had a late start this spring, it's going to continue to be late summer, but those sockeye are coming. They're coming, and give it another 2 days, give it another week. If you guys are coming down this week, this might be a good week to do it. I would say, yeah. If you if you're gonna make the trip, do it. And you know what? I got that new video coming out this week. So as always, share, like, and subscribe. This channel has actually been growing because of these weekly videos I've been doing. So heck yeah, thank you everybody for watching. Couldn't do it without you. And I'll talk to you guys next time.